Okay. Yay! We did it. Okay. All right. Well, I finally have, she's real and she's here. We have Rachel Lefort with us, and she is killing it. She's killing it. I can't wait to hear everything about it. She started out with a concept and flew with an entire brand and business, right? And all the facets of that. And I get questions all the time, about the different areas of the business. And I know that what I've focused on with you in our privates was more of the sizing and getting all of that organized.
Yeah.
I was known for the fit expert in the industry, so people came to me with those type of questions and problems. You have a huge team now, and you have people from all over the world helping you. And I would love for you to introduce yourself to this little group, and I appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. What an honor, Susan. Thank you. So I'm Rachel Lefort, and I'm the founder of Midnight Oil, which is a brand of customizable women's blazers and suiting separates. So most of our collection is made to order with customization. The outlier are the silk blouses. I make those in New York City, right in the garment district, which feels very special to be making something there. It's so
Yeah.
historic and such a part of our country's history with the fashion industry.
Yes.
So, but everything else is made in Europe. And so we have blazers, pants, skirts, tops, these sash belts that are made of fabric, and coats as well. And then belts. So the belts are made in the USA.
Are they in New York as well, the belts?
No, nope, they're in Texas.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah.
So maybe just the group that we have here can just kind of introduce themselves, and then can kind of get started. Introduce yourself, Cece. Mike. There you go.
Good evening, Rachel. I'm
Hi.
so pleased that Susan has invited you and that you have accepted because this is going to be great. I've been sewing since I was 5. My grandmother taught me, and I just grew up designing and sewing my own clothes. Wore uniforms to school, but I would try on clothes in the department stores, examine them, and figure out how they were done, and then I'd go home and make my own.
Wow.
And I'm an interior designer, but I also do a lot of custom work for in the clothing area for clients.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. How talented.
So Lisa, say something.
Hi, I'm Lisa Finkel, and I've been sewing since I was young also. I have a family history of being in the garment business in New York,
Oh,
so I'm kind of picking it back up again. And I've worked for a big manufacturer. I've worked for David's Bridal. I did product development for the manufacturing company I worked for. And now I'm in nursing, but I'm looking to go back to designing and possibly starting my own line on my own terms for love and for, enjoyment
that's great.
before I get too old.
It's never too late, right? Madam Gray started at 80, so it's never too late, right?
That's great.
Anyways, hey Carmen, you want to say hi? Get off the mic.
Hello, and thank you very much for inviting me tonight. My name is Carmen. I've been sewing for many, many years also. I picked it back up right before the pandemic. And I am really focusing on getting fit just right, especially for myself. And I get a lot of requests from family and friends, will you help me with this and will you help me with that? And I kind of shy back because I'm afraid that I'll mess something up. So I'm working on honing in my fitting skills.
Awesome. That's
Hmm.
so
And we have custom and Susie.
Hello, Susie here. Have a background in just creativity. Mainly I was a musician, but my mother taught me how to sew and to knit, to crochet and do all that stuff. So I do a little bit of everything, but I'm just at the point where I want to create my own wardrobe. And I've taken a few courses from Susan. Three or four.
I
The
think,
last one,
yeah, I think it did at
the
least
last one was the jacket making. So
jacket. So this
I'm
is,
thrilled to have my first piece.
yeah,
I mean,
Oh, wow.
awesome.
That's awesome.
so I'm going to a wedding in London in October, and I hope to make this skirt and jacket in black. I have a piece of black suiting. So there you have it. So I have ideas of pieces that I want to build for my own wardrobe. So I'm excited about continuing to learn and do that. So
That's so cool.
that's where I'm at.
Everybody's so talented and brilliant.
Thank you. And Sasha, can you hear? Yeah?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Had to get my mouse to go over to the button. So my name is Sasha Walsh, and I've been sewing for about 20 years. And I really got started. I wanted to have a dress to wear to an ex-boyfriend's sister's wedding.
Nice.
That was what I ended up doing. And then I took a class at a place here in Austin, Texas, actually, which is when you said you had your belt manufacturer in Texas. I'm like, yes. So I took a class on how to make a custom sloper here in town about, I want to say 10 years ago now. And I got really, really into it. Then over COVID, my sister convinced me to start an Instagram just for my sewing. And I ended up getting hooked up with a woman. Her name is Nazrin Jafari. And like her business, Mixed by Nazrin, is now pulling in an incredible number of sales. And I designed her first run of patterns and her slopers. And now look at her go.
That's
So,
fantastic. How
yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
So that's me.
So your heart is truly in design. So that,
I like to fiddle.
no, she does more than fiddle, trust me. Anyway, she does good. She's tackling a Charles James dress now, so that's a little bit more than fiddle.
Oh, yeah, I would say. That's
Yeah. So, but yeah. So I mean, when I was looking back at your file, we started in the pandemic, right? So
Yep.
we started talking in 2020, 2021, I think. When did you actually launch your line? I'm trying to remember.
August 2022.
It was 2022. Okay. So it's just right out of the pandemic or just is still kind of in there, right?
Yep. Yep.
So recollecting this when you launched it, which is really good. Now, see, I want to ask questions specifically that will help you guys because I mean, there's questions I could ask that would help a lot of other people or myself, but I wanted to pinpoint this one thing that you sat on this business idea for a while. Like, when did this percolate? When did this have to be something that you had to do?
Oh my gosh, years and years,
Yeah.
Susan.
Yeah.
I mean, um, I could answer that in more than one way. So if I go way back, I started sewing also when I was a kid, when I was like 6, and I started taking sewing lessons after school, and then I went to college for fashion design, and then I started working in women's wear after I graduated. But so I worked in women's wear design. Fast forward, I'll skip a lot of details, but fast forward, my husband's work moved us to Colorado from
Yes.
New York. And I thought, what am I going to do in Colorado? So I started styling and helping women with their wardrobe,
Yes.
shopping as a personal shopper, personal stylist. Then I started doing talks and I was teaching fashion design courses to students. So 14-year-olds and 40-year-olds doing burn tests with fabric, all kinds of things like that.
Okay.
So anyway, then I was approached by a gal who was selling custom menswear. And I thought, well, that's interesting. So I looked at the clothes, turned them inside out, and I was blown away by how beautiful they were. The craftsmanship, the fabrics from Italy, it was dreamy. It was just gorgeous. And so I thought, well, here I am helping women in their wardrobes. Okay, let me help men too. So I started helping men. And then what happened was I recognized the quality of the menswear and all these options men could get just the right length for their pants and just the right sleeve length. And then they could pick out linings and buttons and have all this fun with designing what they wanted. I would help guide them. And so often they would say, well, wait, my wife is an attorney or works in finance or whatever, and she needs a blazer. Can you
Right.
help her? So I would say, well, yes, I could take her shopping, but I couldn't make her something like that. So I could take her to Nordstrom or the mall. And I kept thinking, so when you're asking, like, when did this idea come? It was really marinating because I would say, okay, for the men, I have this high level Italian wools made in Europe, gorgeous clothing, just the right everything. And for the ladies, we're shopping synthetics at the mall, polyester and acetate, and
Yeah.
all of these lower quality. For anyway, I thought to get the same quality for the women, we're going to have to really go up in price to get something like an Armani or some very expensive suiting at Neiman's, and that's crazy.
Right.
So then I would also be doing wardrobe edits and helping women with their list of what they need to get dressed to get out the door for work. And I might say, well, you have all these colorful things and you have stripes and patterns. I couldn't find, but they didn't necessarily have a neutral to ground the look to help them get out the door. Like you need a great pair of black pants, just black pants. And I would say, don't go to Target for those. That's where you invest in a little better quality. So
Right.
they needed navy and gray and these really just core classics. So then I would say, I should just design it. Where am I going to find a pencil skirt that's navy blue? I can't unless navy's in fashion, but navy should always be in fashion. So I would just marinate on this, like I should just design it. And I think all of these things were swirling. And then also back to your point, Susan, about about it never being too late. I was helping. I live in Denver, outside Denver, Colorado, and years ago, the Denver Art Museum brought Dior to Denver for an exhibition. And I heard they were coming, and I I made it my mission to be hired to help install the exhibit. So I did. I did that, and I went every day to help install the Dior exhibit with the team from Paris, from the Dior archives, and all the curators. It was a dream, and there I was, reading all of the history and remembering that Christian Dior was 42 when he opened his design house, and I was 42 or 41 when I was working on this. So I thought, why not? Why not? It's not like, what am I doing in menswear? I miss this women's wear, this history I had, and then the women need it. So it was kind of like, okay, I need to get to work. So I started writing a business plan and putting it on paper.
And you have a very unique business plan. And I even want to back up and tell people that you also worked for Balmain and Dior, right?
Yes, those were internships in Paris.
So you saw the quality firsthand, right? Were you able to see the quality firsthand? Did they let you? I mean, in whatever.
When I was there, you mean working?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes. I was working on it. At Dior, I was helping the ladies sew the collection. I had my white lab coat. It was really
Oh my
amazing.
gosh, that's amazing.
It was amazing. It was really, John Galliano was the designer at the time.
I was going to ask you who was the designer at the time.
Yeah. And it's funny because there were these sexy scenes on the prints on the garments, like the fabric had prints that were kind of like naughty. And all these ladies were like protecting me. They were like, you shouldn't be seeing this. It was funny.
Now
was in my 20s.
Now look at Schiaparelli. I mean, it's even more blatant, right? But yeah, and what I remembered about your story too is when you were working with me, you were like, I have this core group of people. I don't want to jump too ahead, like you went meticulous. I mean, really, no, really, seriously. I mean, usually when I go to a company and they want to start a line, I want to start a line, blah, blah, blah. And the first thing I ask is, okay, so where's your dress form? Where's your measurement chart? And they don't have either, right? We took what? Probably at least a month looking at every single sizing chart that was relevant to your brand or it was exposed to, I mean, I just want you guys to know this. So this is why
Yes.
Getting the sizing, getting your chart, getting the prototype, all of that is so important. And then we'll get into, how to become a business, right?
Well,
So
what do you
Yes.
mean? What do you mean by that? Do you mean like I'm just gonna build these products for this size woman that she's this tall, she's this skinny, and then you just go with that, and that's your brand. But obviously, Rachel, yours is not. Yours is more across the board.
right.
Yeah, but you do
Is
have
that
to
what
start
you're
somewhere.
saying? Is that what you're saying?
No,
Go
so
ahead.
a sizing chart is all the sizes, but what she did is we also painstakingly tried to figure out what her sample size was going to be. So when I first started, designing, the sample size was like a 2. And if you go to Europe, the sample size is a 2, right? They're 0, they're 2.
Yeah.
In America, it depends on the decade. It depends on the history of what's happening in clothing, and it depends on how large you're going to do your actual manufacturing of your clothing, where your size should be. So the sizing chart is the chart that you develop from the initial sample size that you pick. And I think Rachel picked like an 8 or something instead of your typical 4, 6, because she wanted to make sure it graduated nicely up and it graduated nicely down. If Susie, if you're going to be just doing for yourself, you're just going to be developing your designs in your size range. That's different. That's different. So I just kind of want to have a consecutive part of how this process happened, because I want them to know that the process is extensive.
Yeah.
It's
I
not,
like getting meticulous.
it's meticulous. So we started and we painstakingly did that. And then I know that you were set on your manufacturing in Portugal.
Yes.
And manufacturers were primarily menswear, but they did dabble in women's wear. Like you said, they did Talbot, way back. So you were confident that they were able to do it. And what's interesting also about what you're doing, because this is custom, you do custom sizes, right?
Yes, it's semi-custom.
I mean, so when you're manufacturing, you're not manufacturing a dozen of each size, 2 dozen of each size. No,
Nope.
this manufacturer, you were lucky then. So because the manufacturer allowed you to actually do custom in a somewhat production level.
Yes, it's really
So that's the key. I think that's the number one key of the first part of your tremendous success in your business. So, well, you can elaborate further on that. You were so caught. I remember that conversation. I even remember, I remember that conversation, the last conversation we had, and you were frustrated, right? We're like, why is it so hard? Like, why can't we have women's wear the same as men's wear? Like when they go to the store, they get a 44 long and it's a generic 44 long, and then they tweak it, or 38, regular, and then they tweak it. And then I was like, that's the question of the century, right? Because and there's so many facets of that. And one of the reasons is the body structure of a woman is so different. We want to show off our curves. We're not camouflaging our curves. There's so many body types involved. And it has been liberal, and I don't know why this exists, and maybe it'll change. Maybe you're the person who's going to change it, where not everybody's going to have their own sizing chart. But as it stands right now, every single company has their own sizing chart.
Yep.
There's no 2 sizing charts that are alike.
That's why we studied so many.
That's why we studied so many. And you think that some of them cross over, and unless you're using the same pattern maker and you're using the same program, those what do you call it, generic, or those block designs are not going to be the same. So that's why I mentioned, the sizing chart. That's why I mentioned the fact that you're doing semi-custom, like you said, and you're giving women choices that men don't, that women never had, right? So that's where it turned into a brand, right? It's no longer just a jacket and a skirt and a dress. You develop this brand. You actually fill the void that doesn't exist yet, right?
Thank you, Susan.
But not, yeah, but not only that, Rachel, there's people who say I have a great idea because I watch a lot of Shark Tank. When I'm bored, I just sit there, lay down, and just watch reruns of Shark Tank. And everybody can have a brilliant idea. It doesn't mean it's going to work necessarily.
Right.
But to have a brilliant idea and then to get it to work and actually have it work is tremendous. So that's when, not only did Rachel do that, but then you also established your brand. And how did you establish your brand? How did you go about that? What to get women an idea of what that's like?
Oh, I feel like I'm just doing it every day. I hired someone to help with marketing. And so we work very closely on social media. I have her posting on social media several times a week. What's that?
What's your girl? The ones I had were no good.
She's amazing. She's
Yeah.
very good.
Mhm.
And so we post, I don't know, 4 or 5 times a week on several platforms and send some newsletters out every month. Not a ton. We don't spam. We should send more, but we'll be evolving that and we're brainstorming new ways. But it takes time to build a brand. Every follower on our Instagram page is an organic follower, a real person. And it's slow to grow that following. We have not done any advertising yet. I haven't put money into that yet. I'm carefully taking money in from sales. Sales revenue goes right into the business like this. So the revenue is funding the marketing and the design and the fabric and manufacturing. So it's very tight and careful. I have to be very careful because I want to grow in a smart way. So what else did you ask about building the brand?
I guess I'm jumping ahead because I would love to talk about the manufacturing as well, but it's just so important for everybody to know that you can't just have a product and then no one knows about it.
Right.
It has and it's painstaking. I hate it. That's why I'm taking a break. It's painstaking. Sometimes you just want to do it, right? You just want to make it, you want to create, you want to be in your
Right.
bubble, but you
Right.
can't be in your bubble. And I do want to point out though that it takes an average of 6 years to establish a brand. You
Interesting.
don't become a brand just because you say you're a brand.
Right, because there are a million companies selling online and selling everywhere, and no one knows about you necessarily. Like nobody, we're trying to get the word out so that people will have heard of Midnight Oil, but it really takes time.
Yeah.
And I think part of the key is like the marketing 101 that I've studied, just building the brand and reading business books about, knowing your target market, knowing their demographics and psychographics and where do these women shop. And that's why I studied the size charts, because I wanted to make sure that if she wears a size 8 at these other stores, which are going to be competitors in a similar price point as what mine will be, that she can also wear a size 8 or close to it in Midnight Oil. Is really important to make her life easier. So studying the customer and then thinking about her needs and her needs beyond dressing, like where is she going? Where does she work? What are her struggles? What problems can I solve? And then speaking to her in marketing about that and helping her. So we have 5 pockets inside our blazers. We're like, okay,
Yes.
why not be able to carry your valet parking ticket and all the things to get into your building, your security badge and everything, just like the guys.
Right, right. I want to, kind of go back. You don't sell, you sell direct consumer, but you don't sell it the conventional way. How do you sell so they know how you do this?
We have personal stylists around the country who represent the brand. So they are essentially sales reps, but we call them stylists. So each stylist has his or her book of business clients. And I'll use the pronoun she. Let's say she has signed on with me to be a Midnight Oil stylist, then she gets a whole kit full of fabric swatches, and I train her on on how we have our whole process and then our sales process and order entry. And we're growing a team of stylists around the country. So each particular sales rep is like having a store, right? But she's working flexibly out of her home or office, and then she's seeing her clients through trunk shows or one-on-one appointments and helping the ladies in her town.
Yes. So in other words, not just a website stuck there with a little bit of few social media posts here and there trickling on. You actively have this, and I've seen you must fly a lot.
Yes.
You're all over the place, right?
Yes.
Not only to get your fabric, not only to check the manufacturing, one in Portugal and then New York, getting your fabrics and stuff. Are you going to the shows for that as well, or are they now sending them to you? This is what's new, and then you just
I
can.
still go to the shows. It's both. They do send some things, but I'm going to the shows to shop and meet with the mills, which is so inspiring. I love doing that.
And that's another thing. See, because I'm reverse engineering this interview because, normally you have to buy what, if you're lucky, you can get as low as 50 yards of something or meters or something, right? I mean, if you're lucky, if they let you, and then you're talking hundreds and if not thousands of meters, right?
Right.
Fabrication. So how are you doing this? Is it the Portugal manufacturing teaming with you is in this process?
It's a great question. It's tricky. I pay a lot of surcharges because I also still, my business is so young and I'm not buying hundreds of meters yet.
Right.
And I'm very careful to grow slowly. So I don't want to have an overflow of inventory. And like you said, we're not making clothing inventory, and
Right.
we're making samples. And then we have fabric available that I import from Italy to Portugal. And some of the fabric is made in Portugal also, and then it goes from one part of Portugal to the other. And so then the fabric is warehoused at our factory. And so then I can constantly update our inventory to say, okay, this fabric is running low, et cetera. But yes, 50 meters is, I mean, often a threshold. Sometimes it's 100 meters, and they say if you want to buy less than that, you pay 50% surcharge.
Exactly.
So it's expensive. So I know as I grow, then there'll be price breaks, which will help with our margins with the pricing.
Right, right. And that's the part that is really grueling. I mean, I don't want to get on a side note because we could spend an hour on that, but are
Yeah.
you being affected by what might be going on with tariffs and all of that?
Yes, I've edited my costing sheets and added it in, and it's still kind of up in the air and unclear. It's still unclear.
Unclear because nothing's been set in stone yet.
Yeah, and I mean I do pay a lot already in tariff and like the customs duties. So it's confusing, but it's a lot. It's expensive. It's frustrating. It's pretty expensive. And already paying wool from Italy has its own
Right.
level of duties.
Well, that's when I stopped buying wool from France and Italy because the tariffs were like 30% back then, a zillion and a half years ago. Lace. So I don't even know if it's manufactured, if it's being sent from Italy to Portugal, and then the final garment is coming to the United States. Is it the same? Do you still have to pay those tariffs in the same?
So yes, so there's one tax I can avoid, the VAT tax, that the factory in Portugal helps me offset because they're importing it and I'm reimbursing them. But then I have to pay it when it goes from Portugal to the US.
Okay.
So I have to pay it a different way.
I'm getting too much in the nitty-gritty of things that may not be relevant for this group. But I just found that fascinating, and I wanted to know where you're at. So I kind of want to open it up to questions because like I said, you came up with the idea, then you market it, and you have people helping you on all those different levels as well. But individually, I mean, I have a ton of questions, but I just don't want to run out, and I want to know if there's a question that someone wants to poke in already at this point. I know Sasha was writing stuff down earlier, so what do you got?
Thank you, Susan.
You're on to me. So I was poking around the website earlier today because I was like, "Ooh, custom jackets! I love me this." Um, and I guess like one of the questions that actually came up for me just listening to you talk is, what did the relationship building process with your vendors for your fabric, and then especially with the production house, what did that look like that got them to take you seriously? Because that's what I hear all the time is like, you got to go, you got to pound the pavement. You're going to be talking to everybody. How did you do that? What did that look like?
That's a great question. I can answer you with the one from Portugal, and then my experience in New York is a separate answer. But in Portugal, I was introduced and I had a relationship already because they were making the menswear that I was already selling. So I was a stylist / sales rep, just like I have now for Midnight Oil. I was one of the stylists in that role for the menswear brand, and the menswear brand was being made at the same factory. So they knew that it was like I was familiar already. I had met them before. And then we had somebody who was high up in that relationship there with the manufacturing, who I was close with, who made an introduction. So I had an in already. So I know that doesn't sound fair, but
that's the only way to go now.
That's exactly how it was for Nazarene.
Yeah, it was really
Right.
helpful. It's really helpful. It's just through experience, right? Through years and years of experience in your work that you build relationships, and you never know where those will go. The experience in New York was different, and it was a lot of stress and, I mean, funny stories, but going factory to factory to factory of finding the right factory to make my silk blouses. And it was not easy, but then I found someone amazing, but it was probably the third or fourth factory. I mean, I had one factory, the owner, I think, didn't want my work because, again, I'm kind of meticulous and my silk is very special and delicate, and there are a lot of design details. And he lied and said, my team has COVID. And I said, okay, well, I can wait 2 weeks.
No, it's long COVID.
Everybody's better.
Never.
Yeah, it was like I totally caught him in a lie. It was so bad. And so
Oh, yeah.
No, I was like, oh my gosh. And I had already ordered fabric and had fusible and all the things like sent over to him in Messenger. And then it was so crazy. Like, that's just one of the stories.
Wow.
No.
I know. So it was literally pounding the pavement, like running. I remember one day my daughter, who's a teenager, had a softball tournament in Philadelphia. And so like, okay, well, she doesn't have anything that morning of XYZ. I'm going to take the train. I'm going to go to New York, and I've got like 4 hours. And I went boom, 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 running factory to factory. I'm like, this is my design. This is whatever. So-and-so sent me. Can you, and it was kind of insane. And my goal was like, I'm not leaving here until I have a manufacturer.
Did you make the softball game?
I did. I made it.
Yes.
It's the most important priority.
I have 2 small kids, so I get it.
Yes, motherhood is first.
It's like, I got to fit all of this in these little blocks around these other things. Yeah. All right. And then my other question, and I was just kind of thinking about this, knowing just kind of watching all of the business development. What does your day-to-day look like? How are you avoiding burnout when obviously you're dealing with motherhood, and then you've got this creative job that you're trying to do that is also requiring a lot of the logistics? How do you organize that day and your time so that you do not end up bald because you're pulling your hair out?
What a great question.
That's
It's
a
a
good one
very,
too, right? Yeah.
very legitimate question. I don't know, am I going bald yet? I might be.
No, but
I know
see
I
this. This is
I know it is.
I gotta order Nutrafol after this one.
It's hard because I do wear so many hats.
Yeah.
It's a lot of hats, and I use my iCal calendar, that syncs in all the places in order to write everything down, even to say follow up with so and so and remember this and remember that, and time block and try to block my calendar so that I know, okay, if I have my team call that I'm leading with all my stylists, I need to make sure I block the time to prepare for that. And then I might have a call with my accountant to review our P&Ls and review commissions. And then I might have a call with, or I might, and then I'm putting in silk production. And then I need to make sure the fabrics are coming from Italy to Portugal. It's so many things that I'm constantly keeping notes on all the to-do lists and honestly looking for better systems to manage it all, but also looking to find some help. I need some help.
Delegate.
I'm wearing too many hats and I'm very careful to keep the balls in the air, but I do work a lot and it's a lot.
You don't have an assistant then? You don't have an assistant designer who's there with the computer saying, okay, do this, this, and this. And I didn't either, but I mean, back then you just did it all. But now,
Yeah, but when you're a startup, you do it all, right?
Yeah,
And eventually, as I grow, I will be able to hire. I've hired my teenage daughter to help with fulfilling orders, packing and shipping, and
Wow.
fulfilling in Shopify, and I'm like, make it look like a Christmas wrapping, beautiful
Yeah.
box that we put the blazer in, put a nice sticker on it. Okay, this is how you do the shipping label. Go to the UPS store and bring it and let me know, report back. And it's good training for her.
Yeah,
But also I've hired interns to help with tasks like that.
right. So all the inventory is coming to Colorado then?
Yes,
Okay.
on the warehouse.
And then you're the warehouse and it's distributed
Yes,
from there to all of your stylists.
yes.
So, okay. And you do a lot of talks as well on top. I mean, you're at every women's group and seminar.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think that's probably the biggest asset that you are doing. Like, I think a lot of people would say, no, 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 I can't do that. But I think, like, you don't know even in this little group who's going to want to order one of your custom jackets. You know what I mean? Every single event or meetup or dialogue leads to something. So,
You never know. Yeah, it's good to always talk about your work because you never know like who needs help, right? Finding something to help them with their events and occasions.
yeah. No, but I mean, you're saying that's more eyes on your company, more eyes.
Yes, doing talks. And because I used to work as a stylist, so
Yeah.
I would help hands-on. And I think that was really helpful because I was working directly with these clients, with these ladies, helping them get out the door and go to work and saying, what's stressful? Okay, getting dressed is stressful. You have a high-powered job. You're not good at styling necessarily. They would say that to me. I'm not good at putting outfits together. So I would help simplify the whole thing and
Right.
say, dress in just 2 colors or 3 colors. That's it. Let's narrow your palette. Let's change how you shop. One of my shopping clients called it mall school, which was really fun. But yeah, just to simplify and see all those trends, skip the trends. Let's go for what works for you. Just really dialing in on styling to help each individual lady have a plan for, again, just getting out the door, go to work and feel really confident and amazing so that you can do your job best and not fidget or worry about what you're wearing. So that really informed what I'm doing now because I would direct these ladies where to shop, then I'd have a hard time finding it. And I was doing speaking presentations for women in finance or women in law or whatever, and helping them with a PowerPoint showing how to dress professionally with style, how to build your wardrobe. Then I would say, okay, you need to invest in these neutral wardrobe staples. And they would say, where do I find a good black blazer? And why don't you bring product? So that was another part of this, maybe I should do something about this.
Yeah.
So now the speaking engagements are interesting because now I'm like, well, now I have product. So I always add a shopping element to the.
And you bring the product, right? I hope.
I do. Yeah. I bring the product.
And my favorite part is when you're doing, the photo shoots and stuff. And I remember what you said, and I fight with photographers, and this is why I don't hire them half the time, and I'm doing it myself, is because you purposely ask your photographer saying, I don't want the 5 shots for this amount of money. I want every single shot and every single angle because I'm putting this on social media and you're releasing this so I can.
Yeah.
And they still don't like it. Photographers
No.
don't like it. So if you have that relationship with them right away from the get-go, to tell them, look, this is the way it is, then you have content. You have content.
Yep, yep. And you have to be right there, and I have to help direct the shot to get the right angle. That flare trouser better lay on the shoe just right.
Yeah, and
Yep.
it came from, and you're designing. So your core pieces that you designed, what inspired those designs? Did you have that idea a long time already, or was it just a combination of menswear and then putting into women's wear, or what developed that for you?
For me, I've worn blazers for a long time. When I was working as a stylist, I just thought there's something really powerful about a blazer. And I always like to tell my clients, especially the styling clients, that I feel like it's like putting on a superhero cape. When you put your blazer on, you stand taller, you've got power, you feel strong, confident. So that was always going to be the hero piece. And also that's the really fun part to customize, because you can pick all the fun, like the linings and the
Yeah,
buttons and like all the
it's
things.
amazing what you can do.
Focus, aren't we? Why is my
Yeah,
camera doing that? Sorry.
she has it all the way down to the buttonhole.
Yeah, so yeah, a lot of fun things that you can design. So the blazer,
Yeah.
then this is what happened actually. I thought, okay, I wanted to test the whole concept and test the whole company.
Should have backed
And
up on
so
that.
what's that?
I should have backed up on that with your core group, right?
Yes, the core, exactly. So I put this idea out to 100 people and said, I have this idea. I'm excited about something. I'm looking for test customers. And in order to prepare to do that, I thought, well, if I'm going to do this mini photo shoot, I'm not going to have just blazers, because what am I going to put on the model? Well, I need the bottoms. Okay, I need a pant. So if I do just a blazer and a pant, then what? Am I
Yeah.
going to get a t-shirt or somebody else's blouse? Nope, I'm going to design the blouse. I'm going to make the whole thing. And I always taught my clients dressing monochromatically or just two colors, and neutrals were so hard to find. So I did three colors: black, navy, and ivory for the first three colors, monochromatic blouses to match the suiting. So those were the three pieces, and I had two pant styles, a flare and a narrow, like a ankle pant, cigarette pant.
Right.
So that's where I started, but then I really and still plan to build out more and more products. But because they're made one at a time and they're so specific and there's so many fit details and we have to nail the fit,
Yeah.
it's slow. And I'm intentionally slow because I would love to develop a ton,
I'd rather not. Yeah.
but I'm going one at a time. So we have this dress that's a three-piece dress. It's a top and a skirt, separates, because women are hard to fit. And so then we can fit top and bottom separately.
Yes, yes, yes. I love that. I saw that and it's just awesome. And that's so smart. See, that's so smart, having it separate, because if you are a little long-waisted or if you're a little short-waisted and you have that wrap belt, see, having the design background that you have and having the styling background that you have and having the fit background with menswear and women's wear,
Yeah.
that all played into this.
It did. It did. I have to say, it's like all the parts of my career came together to form this brand, and it's all helpful.
Yeah.
Like just even like the working in design when I was in my 20s in
Yeah.
women's wear in New York, and then working in menswear, meeting all these fabric mills and being in the ladies' closets and helping them and knowing what they need and what the pain points are. It all has really helped.
Yeah. So I mean, I want to go to somebody else for a question because I will ask all this and shut up. You have anything, you guys, Susie, Cece, anybody? Cece, you have one? You want to go? Yeah.
Sasha got answers to my questions, so that was great. But I wondered, your designers or your fashion consultants, is that what you call them? What do you call them?
Stylists.
Stylists. Thank you.
Yep.
Your stylists, how do they develop a client list without having clothing on hand to show people? How does that work? Do you do little trunk shows?
Yes, we do trunk shows. And so when they plan something, I will send them the collection and help them. And to Susan's point, I'm often flying around and helping, or maybe they have other stylists also that help them launch. And a lot of the stylists know each other and they might sell other things as well, but there's a great community and so they're supporting each other. But yeah, they're borrowing the collection to show and
they-
try on samples.
They like to basically have a little event.
Yes, they have an event. And then sometimes they don't want to have an event, but they have the collection there, let's say for a week or so, and they're inviting women to come shop during that week, or they're going, let's say, bringing it all to the law firm and setting up in a conference room and saying, let me help you ladies get
Terrific.
fitted.
This is like bespoke clothing for professional women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Then I had the question do you have in your dream in the future, like Savile Row, like a storefront with tailors
Yes,
right
great
there
question.
on the spot?
You
People
do?
come and
Yeah.
visit you and make appointments and actually feel like they're getting everything handmade right in your shop.
I think it's a dream. I do dream of having these physical locations. Well, even if it's not being made there, but at least a showroom where women can come in and have champagne. And I picture the chandeliers and a beautiful setting to help them feel so special, like this concierge service. And maybe there's a couch for the men to sit and wait too. But I picture like a candy bar with buttons and linings and all the fun things to
Oh my
pick
God.
out.
Wow.
And then a mix of some ready to wear. I do picture it. It just takes investment and growth.
How do you find the stylists? Do they just grow from one show to I mean, how do you pick up stylists to help you?
A lot of it is word of mouth at the moment,
Yeah.
but I am going to be searching for more stylists, and it's going to be interesting. It's a special candidate who understands fit in fabric and style, and also has relationships with potential clients
Yeah.
and already in women's wear sales or in something similar, even if it's custom menswear.
Or maybe, so will you actually train these people? I mean,
Yes,
yeah, I'd be interested in that.
absolutely. And the clothing is semi-custom, and I say that because you all understand what true custom is. And some people know what custom is, and they might expect that we're taking a million measurements from here to here and here to here. And we're not, because women who are burning the midnight oil, working so hard, don't have time or the money for such a level of luxury. So really we're using try-on samples, and everything's based on a size, but it's still not made yet. But the patterns are created in those sizes, and then we can do in-between sizing. So if a lady's between a 12 and a 14, we have try-on samples in those even numbers, we can order her size 13. And then we can still do a waist adjustment. If she's like, well, I want the smaller size for my shoulders, but I have a tummy, then we can order it with the waist larger, or the opposite, more tapered, and then custom sleeves length and jacket length, and we can increase the bicep. So there's a lot we can do, but it's semi-custom.
Yeah, but I remember you talking about doing in between sizes, and I thought, oh my gosh, if they'll do it, that's great. But I can't even imagine a manufacturer doing that. So that's amazing.
They think I'm crazy. They're like, Rachel, what about the tolerance? Like, you're so close to tolerance. I'm like, you've got this. You can do it. Come on.
They used to tell me all the time when I could even get a photo and maybe 3 measurements and go, all right, make it happen. You put it out of yeah. So once you believe in them and they know that you believe in them, they will do that. They will do all of that.
I'm so full of gratitude to them. And I'm sure I'm a pain in the neck, but also their most grateful client.
No, you're too nice. You're not a pain in the neck. You're not a pain in the neck.
Well, I'm pushing them to, like, can you help me with it? This isn't right. No, like, details matter. I mean, which they know.
Yeah. So it's been what, 3-4 years then of solid business?
Only 3.
Only 3.
August will be 3.
3 is the threshold. Are you starting to see where things are evening out as far as the company goes, where it's somewhat self-sufficient at this point?
Yes, but I mean, so yes, but I need to hire. So I don't know
Just
how
put
you're,
it in. Yeah.
so yes, and the sales are growing. The company's, I mean, the growth is awesome. I'm really proud of it.
Yeah.
So that's exciting, but and I've beyond proof of concept. So I think that's exciting too. That I feel like I've been
Yes.
really just making sure for this first 3 years that we have something that works, and it does. It works, and we have repeat clients and repeat business,
Yes.
and people love the clothes, and it's pretty cool. So now we need to
Yeah.
grow.
Okay. She's got a question, Sasha. Yeah.
This is a fun one, but I'm always so curious.
Mhm.
Who has been the coolest name that has come across that order form? And you're like, oh
You're
my
not allowed to say. Sometimes you're not allowed to say, right? Or can you?
Oh my gosh, I wish I could tell you movie stars, but we're not there yet.
even so, it's just like somebody that you know that you were like, oh my gosh, like
There's
that.
so many cool. I mean, there's a really cool gal named Lizelle who's an entrepreneur, like a serial entrepreneur
Okay.
in Denver. And I don't think, and you know, you said even if it's not somebody famous, she's not famous, but she's cool.
Yeah.
And she, you know, she's got two blazers and she rocks them. And there's something called Denver Startup Week, which is a huge, people fly in from all over the world for just all of this entrepreneurial like seminars about all kinds of industries. But
Hmm.
she was leading these sessions for women who start up. And so having her wear the
Yeah.
night was cool.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
I know you were
Love
saying,
it.
I mean, I would love to. Florida, it's just like it's hard to get them. I mean, the suit, I think the suit is now mainstream. It is no longer an accessory. Um,
Right.
I think everybody needs a good blazer. Like even I love the way you paired with the jeans. I love the chambray that I just saw on your website, which is I thought that was fabulous as well, because then that'll handle maybe Florida, even possible California weather, and stuff like that. So it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep. Linens.
and then you're crossing over from just, the typical businesswoman or lawyer, speakers, entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
anybody who has to get up on a stage, anybody that has to be seen, will definitely benefit from this. And if they are, like even where I'm living, even though it is a hot climate, most of these people live in cold climates half of the year,
Oh,
right?
that's true.
Because they're very wealthy, and I'm one of the poor ones that are staying here. So, so when they're going there, they're going to want that as well. So, yeah, I wasn't sure if you had, if it was so seasonal where you saw a drop, because all across the board, even in manufacturing of any type of garment, there's usually a drop. You have to work, if you're manufacturing, you're working your butt off right now to get the next collection ready.
Right.
So there's never a downtime, but is there a downtime in sales? In sales?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's a bit different.
January is slow right after Christmas.
Okay.
February is slow.
Okay.
July, August can be slow. Yes.
Yeah. So it's the
So
same. It's the same because you're a retail and you're wholesale. You're not posting a line or collection 3 to 6 months ahead of time to show at actual premieres.
I,
You're doing the present time within months.
yeah.
So hopefully that kind of narrows that gap a little bit.
Yeah, it's interesting because I was talking to one of the fabric mill representatives, and he
Yeah.
was saying it's crazy designers plan 2 years out. They'll buy
Yeah.
fabrics so far out, a year and a half, and he goes, things are changing so fast in the world right now. How do they really know what's going to be in fashion? But
Right.
that's how the fashion calendar works with wholesale, with putting clothing in stores, because it takes so long to manufacture and then get it to the store for the deadline. But
Right.
I'm working very, very close to the season
Yes.
because we have fabrics and you can just order it and it comes in 6 weeks.
Yes, yes. Well, that's the benefit of it, and you have low stock then as well. You're not having to stock as much,
Right.
right?
Right.
But
Yeah.
a classic is a classic. I mean, there's a shop here in Omaha it's called Overland. They sell furs
I
around.
know that
There's
store.
there's somebody cold in the world wherever. They have not closed their doors for 40 years. I mean, they're just,
That's true.
That's true. They're in Denver too. I know that store. You're right. It's a
yeah,
classic.
I think they might just have two places, but
Yeah.
you're making a classic, a timeless piece.
Yeah.
Maybe if the fabrics change,
Yeah.
still you're able to get classic fabrics as well.
Yeah,
Different.
exactly. And like you said, Susan, even for warm weather, we just make it in linen
Right.
or linen viscose.
Yeah. So this is another interesting question because I'm thinking financial as well, and my brain thinks money as well. When you're I notice you have the items on the website, you can order directly on the website, correct?
You can.
So the stylists, they're getting a percentage? So you've incorporated that percentage then in the website order, so you're not competing with your stylist, you're keeping them at the same price so no one feels
Oh, yeah.
like they're taking advantage of whatever.
Right. I don't want to undermine any of my stylists. And very often I will receive the order from or an inquiry. Let's say it's an inquiry from someone online.
Yeah.
I will find out what zip code they're in and connect them with a stylist anyway.
So they can finish off the process and make them feel like it's a custom. Very cool.
Just make it feel special. And sometimes it's a remote fitting, and sometimes I'll also be involved, but we'll ship try-on samples and have a Zoom fitting and really help her because it's very high touch. And I think it's important to put the time in up front to help make sure she's going to love it later on, rather than just make it quick, and then have to remake it. I'd rather put in the time in the beginning. So it's definitely not Amazon. It's not fast.
No, it's not fast.
Classic, like you said.
But it's like bespoke. What is the lead time? Like what do you?
The lead time when I place the order, or when the client, sends me an order, 6 to 8 weeks is what I say. So it's closer to 6 weeks, but there's UPS and there's there are variables sometimes. Or if I tell her, wait, you didn't tell me your monogram, we might add a week in communications. So it helps us protect the time. Except right now, the factory, which is in Europe, is getting ready for a vacation.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 6 weeks vacation.
I forgot what it
So
was.
it's going to be a longer lead time. What's
Yeah,
that?
so Italy I forgot what month Italy takes off, and then in Paris, because my daughter lives in Paris, so now she's in New York in July, so they close in July.
It's August in Italy and Portugal.
August in Italy, okay, yeah. So and you can't buy fabric. No one's answering the phone. No one's going to look at your email. They could care less. They're having their coffee.
Yep. They're having Aperol Spritz on the beach and they're out of office. It's not helpful for fall fashion, but
No, but you got to plan ahead for that. I know I always get very frustrated with that. So I kind of have one last question which is, where you are today, and I don't want you to feel flustered or anything, but what you've done so far, if you had to start over today, would there be anything different that you would do?
That's a good question. Maybe I would call you every day, Susan.
I would have loved it.
Yeah. Wait, what about this fit chart? Can you double check? Because there are always fit questions. There's so many fit questions. Everybody's body's so different. It's funny because I could say that I would really button up all of the fit details and all of the order forms and making sure that I know to ask all the right questions, that the stylists know what to ask the clients, and then to really set that up. But I'm good at giving myself these roadblocks by saying it all has to be perfect. Where the other part of me is like, just start and just do it. Start, and you'll figure it out. And yes, there will be mistakes, and I hate that, but there will. And yes, you'll learn and you'll pivot. And so, what else would I do differently? I guess maybe look for funding right away.
It's almost like you can't control any of that. You haven't been able to control it. It's your life, and it's just coming together in a unique way to your life's experience.
Right.
I think I have not really met a company, and I've been in this industry for over 40 years, right? That came as prepared as you.
Oh, that's
Frankly. I
cute.
mean, it's always been like tooth and nail just to do the first part, which is get that dress form, get that sizing chart. And I even have, yeah, you guys, you have to see that she sent me, I even have where she photographed,
Like, what is she gonna say?
your fit model and had pin marks of where you were going to target fitting issues on the body. And there's no way the good thing about it, what you're doing as far as having the one button rather than a two button or a three button in the jacket is you can almost kind of get away with the short waist and the long waist a little bit. So your design elements help with that. But no, you really, I mean, you understood the process of first fitting, second fitting, redo, production fitting, production made patterns. So I think there's nothing that I would say that, from my end, seeing outside looking in, that you would have done differently. Just help.
Thank
Ask for help. That's the
Yeah.
one thing. It's hard to trust somebody and ask for the right kind of help, that you need. And, but, I'm always here for you. So like, if,
That's so sweet. I'm probably calling you, Susan. I'm so
yeah,
happy to reconnect with you. Thank you. Thank you.
yeah,
There's always
yeah.
challenges, but thank you for that.
And keep your eyes open, guys. I mean, I think if you could have, swing it, having one of her bespoke, I want one.
I want one too.
Those
Yeah.
jackets. And I'm going to say it out loud. They're not they're a good
They're
price.
not. I'm pleasantly
They're
surprised
a
that
good
your
price,
prices are
Rachel.
really reasonable.
Well, thank you.
They're reasonable.
Not sold. These aren't sold in stores. This collection is not. So they
Yeah,
would be probably 3 times the price if they were.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
I was looking over all your fabrics and everything. I was like, I love
Yeah.
that lining. Oh, that's so
Yeah.
pretty.
thank
Yeah.
you. Thank
Is it-
you. And
is
I
it-
really was careful thinking about where our client is shopping
And
and
quality
hanging
of your
next to her in Neiman Marcus.
Yeah, and
As if
the quality of your fabric is,
it's not.
if you're buying that fabric, because you guys looked, because you're in suiting, right? You looked at some of this fabric, and I'm Googling it now, and they're $120 a yard, for some of this wool. Even just as a side note, not Scalamandre, but the Solstice lace in Paris. Now
Oh.
they're trying to get, retail, and they're putting the retail price on their lace and having websites now for the public to see. So if you try to make this jacket and the quality, I mean, we struggled with the peak lapel. Let me tell you. That's not easy to do, and it never actually will look as professional as somebody who does this over and over, who
Yeah.
does menswear, has the machinery, and that's doing it like either in Italy or Portugal. You're never ever, it's going to look good, and you can practice and get there.
That's how I feel
Yeah,
about it.
I shouldn't take it for granted.
yeah, to see, look at that, guys. That's what
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
is not going to happen in your home sewing machine.
Or look at my.
No.
I mean, I'm pretty happy with mine, but yeah, there's still the peak part is not up to my standard.
Yeah. No, but it's not, don't be hard on yourself. It's not going to be perfect even for me.
I don't even attempt to
I'm happy
sew
with
them.
this.
But we're not sewing on a daily basis. As a designer, we're busy creating, we're making the pattern, we're sketching, we're working out the design elements and the sales and the platform and the social media. We're not sitting behind that machine, and we weren't born to just sew in that way. So to have that type of workmanship, it is almost impossible for anybody to do
Yeah.
other than those factories.
Yeah, I don't attempt to sew a blazer.
But everybody should try.
Yeah.
Try online one and come aboard. Now, by the way, guys, so these courses now will be on my master class. I've decided to put them on the master class, so there will be a membership where you get this, have access to them. They'll be the recorded version. It's because I know you have too much on your plate. Rachel, I know you wanted a refresher or any of this stuff. It'll also be there as well.
Oh, thank
So
you.
signing up on that and still thinking about the stylist situation. You guys all think about that as well, because this would be, I know you're going to be even bigger than you can imagine. I just feel it.
Thank you. That's awesome. Thank you.
You're the next Spanx as far as I'm concerned, because this is a niche that doesn't exist and you're nailing it.
Oh
And
my God.
thank you so much for taking the time to do this
My
with us.
pleasure. What an honor. I'm so honored to be here and to share anything I can share. Thank you, Susan. Thank you all
Thank
for
you.
listening. And I'm excited. I'm excited for all of you. You're all building and creating, and it feels good.
Thank you. And I hope this hopefully will be shared with more people, but I'm glad that at least the core was here, the small core last minute thing. But I thank you so much. So I'm gonna
Okay.
end the recording.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye, guys.